Now let's do the failover now. So I will just do the active standby failover. So to do that one, what I have to do is that I need to get Ethernet switch first. So this will be for the outside, and this one will be acting for the inside as well as for the DMZ. Delete. So outside, 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 outside. And here also I will delete this one. So gig 0/1 and gig 0/2. And I will just move these things now. Okay, and I will just move here. Because I'm going to add one more ASA over here. So I will just add now. Connect it, connect it. Okay, that should be good now. Inside DMZ. Now I will add one more router that will be ASA V11. Click on OK and start. Do the same thing, management, I will connect it over here. And outside, I will connect it to outside switch, and the DMZ and the inside will be connected over here. Now, again, with the direct failover, you can go ahead and connect directly, but it is not recommended that you connect the failover link directly to the ASS. It should be connected to the switch every time, because in that way you will know that actually which interface has gone down. Right, so I will use gig 0/3 as the failover interface. Gig 0/1, 0/2. Okay, so the gig 0/3 I have connected to the switch. That is how you should be on the real time in the production also. Now coming to the management, for the management, I will go ahead with the 28. Okay, and again the same thing, 250. Or delete that one now. Now coming to the active standby failover, you have to make sure that the devices should be exactly the same. So active standby means one will be active every time. So if I say that ASA1V is active every time, that means that is the one which is going to forward the traffic. This is one which ASA11 is going to just sit over there and wait for the ASA1 to go down. So when it goes down, then only it will do the failover. So let's take the console now, and I will just do the same thing here also. For the ASA11 also, I will do just configure the management, and I will enable the ASDM, because I'm going to configure the, what do we say, failover using the ASDM. Config key, and it will say that interface management 0/0, name if will be MGMT, security level will be 100, IP address will be 150.1.7.28, and no chat, HTTP server enable, HTTP, or what do we say, 150.1.7.0, MGMT. So once that has been done, save that one by saying WR. Let's go to the ASDM. On the device list, I will click on add, and I will say that 150.1.7.28. Click on OK. So click on continue. And now it should discover that ASA now. So if I go back to the home, now it has discovered. So let's go ahead and configure our active standby. So before we go ahead and configure the active standby, I'm on the ASA 11B. So let's go to the configuration, device setup. Okay, there is another, if I think there should be another way where I can change the ASA host name. So the firewall device management, and I think all right, I saw that one, but I forgot again where the option is. Okay, device name and password. This is where ASAV11 and apply and click on save. And now if I come back here, that should be changed to ASA11. That's fantastic. Now let's go to the device setup of ASA11. Go to the interface, click on interface gig 0/3, click on edit. Just enable the interface, click on OK and click on apply. I'm doing nothing. I'm just saying that interface gig 0/3, no shut. That's it. Go back to the 27. That is my ASA1. Let's confirm that one, ASA1. So let's go to the wizard. Let's go, before we go ahead with the wizard, let's do the same thing. Go to the device setup, go to the interface, select the gig 0/3, click on edit, enable the interface, click on OK, apply, and save. So once that is being done, so let's go ahead and run the wizard, that is high availability. So I'm doing the active standby. So click on next. IP address of the secondary device, that is 150.1.7.28. So this should be the ASDM IP address. So click on next. It should discover, and you see that all the tick marks, it should say okay, okay, okay. Then it will give you the next one. So I'm selecting the interface as a gig 0/3. I'm just giving a name for that one, failover link name. That is LAN. Active IP address will be 111.1.1.1. Secondary IP address will be 111.1.1.2. And the subnet will be 255.255.0. To click on next. If you like, you can have two interfaces, one for the heartbeat of the active standby to make sure that they are active or not, another one for the synchronization of the configuration. But here, since it is an active standby, we do not require two interfaces. We can go ahead with one interface. So just click on next. Now assign the IP addresses for all of them. So currently I have to go ahead and assign the IP address for the inside, outside, and the DMZ. So what I will do is that for the DMZ, I will assign 20.0.0.253. And for the inside, I will do the same thing, 10.0.0.253. And for the management, I will go ahead with 150.1.7.28. If you remember, 27 is the ASA1, 28 will be the secondary one. And the outside will be 210.100.1.1.3 because I have used already 2 in the ASA2. So once I give the secondary IP address, click on next. And now you see that this is what it is going to push the commands. So click on finish. So now you see that since we did configuring for the first time, so you have to wait for 1 minute in order to failover to happen. So if I go back to ASA1 and ASA11, so I will just stay on the ASA1. I will just grab it up and I will just stay in the ASA1. And let's see whether the active standby, how much time it will take. So basically it should take 1 minute, and after that it should say detected the active mate. So this one is the active, so it should say that did no active mate have been detected. So AS11 should say that active mate have been detected. So once the detection happens, it should synchronize the configuration. Do you see that no active mate have been detected? So if I go to 11, so it still doesn't shows anything over here. So the AS11 should also show me that detected an active mate. You see that? So now the configuration will take place. So beginning the configuration, and it should show that end configuration. So if you remember, I did nothing on the ASA 11. I just assigned the management IP address and enabled the ASDM. And if I say that show interface IP brief, and now you see that all the configuration should be synchronized. So if I say that show access list, and you see that the access list also has been synchronized on the secondary device. So if I go ahead and if I say that show failover, and I will just increase it. And now you see that this host is a secondary and it is standby ready. The other host is the primary. If I go back with the ASA and if I say that show failover, and now you see that this one is the primary, which is active, and the other host is the secondary. Now come back to ASDM. So failover configuration is complete. So click on OK. Go back to the home. Now you see that failover status should change now. If I do a refresh, and now you see that this host primary. So if I go back to my 28 and click on connect, click on save. And now you see that this one is secondary. So if I go back to my primary now, I came back to primary, ASA1V. So still, let me refresh. Lost connection to the firewall. It seemed to be pretty good. All right, so you see the logs over here, HA status, my state, standby ready, PS state, and everything. So that's the good thing of the logs, like it will help you to understand. So let me do the save, or let me do a refresh. So if I go back to the secondary one, okay, I lost connection to both of them. Let me open my command prompt and see that ping 150.1.7.27, I'm able to ping. So I don't think so what's happening with that application. 28, everything seems to be good now. So basically it should show up here as the active standby. If I go to the 27, connect. All right, it came back now. This host as primary. So now it came back again. This host as secondary. So it's back now. All right, so active standby has been configured and you can see that details over here. If I go back here on monitoring, and if I go back to the not VPN routing properties, failover status, you see that failover on, unit is primary. Now, if you want to make this ASA1V as a standby, so if I come back here, so ASA1 is currently primary. So I will just make standby, click on OK. And now if I go back to CLI, you see that switching to standby. So now this one should go to switching to active. Okay, so once that is been done, so I can go ahead and click on make active again, or come back here. And now it should show me that switching to active here, and here it should show that switching to standby. So it will take a while, but after that it should become active. So click on make active, click on OK. Refresh, go back to home. This one is primary, but standby ready. Go back to the monitoring and properties. Okay, where was the option in the routing? Now failover. Okay, make active. Okay. Okay, on secondary, even if because this has become now secondary, so it will not accept any command. So I have to go to the active, which is the 28. So I will click on connect, click on save. And I will go to the monitoring, same thing, properties, go to the failover status and click on make standby, click on OK. And now it should switch to standby. So it's taking some time to switch it in one and before, but from the CLI, it will be instant. But with the ASDM, it's taking time. Okay, so make standby, click on active. Okay. And if I come back here, go back to the ASA1. So let's give it a 2 to 5 minutes time. And after that, it should be the, what do we say? This should become primary and active. So this one is ASA1. And also the difference here is that you see that whenever I say that makes secondary, this device totally became as secondary. But actually when you configure by CLI, it will show you as primary, but standby ready. Other host will be the secondary, which will be the active. But with respect to the ASDM, it is totally switching the role itself. So it is switching who is the primary now. The secondary device became the primary unit, and the primary unit became the secondary. The roles have been changed entirely. So that's the difference between the CLI and the ASDM. So I hope this was informative for you, and thank you.